Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
What is going on? How you guys all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I'm here to talk about a couple of some pieces of news that happened this past week in WWE that has kind of been floating around as rumors for a couple of weeks now, even though one of them, yes, I expected, other one I was a little shocked by, but I understand why he decided to not stick around. As this past Friday, to me it was official because that's when they were officially moved to the alumni section on the WWE app. But Bobby Lashley and his former Hurt Business manager, MVP, have both departed from WWE as of this past Friday, August 16th, 2024. They're both, of course, free in their contracts. They can sign anywhere if they choose to continue signing. Could Bobby Lashley maybe go to AEW and debut at All In? That is, of course, a very big possibility. Maybe they could wait to All Out. Who knows? Or could he go back to TNA, where he has made a career at before? We're going to get into all this, and we'll talk about what could possibly be also for MVP as well. Which I really think there's only one big possibility I can think of off the top of my head for MVP that could link both of these men back together. And that's in some ways reuniting the Hurt Business in some way outside of WWE. They can't completely, though, because Cedric is still with WWE under contract right now. I think he's in NXT or he's on SmackDown for being a tag team with Ashante the Adonis, but they haven't been on TV in months. So I don't know what the heck is going on with them either. Quite frankly, to be honest, since Hit Row didn't succeed, I'm very surprised they've kept both Ashante and B-Fab. B-Fab, of course, now is in the group Bobby Lashley was in before he got injured after Wrestlemania this year. And now it's like the Street Profits and B-Fab have gone kind of flat because Bobby's not around anymore. So what are my thoughts on all this? We'll get into it and we'll talk about it all. Well, first, this all started a couple weeks ago, and I was saying I was going to wait until something was in fact confirmed. As time got closer, I felt like it was going to be pretty much true, especially after the interview Bobby Lashley did, where he did mention that he felt he had a better connection with Vince McMahon than Triple H. So that's when I figured, okay, yeah, Bobby probably is on his way out. But a couple weeks ago, there were rumors that 3 people were going to be departing the company again very soon once their contracts try to expire. And that was Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Tamina. Now, as of Friday, I had seen Bobby Lashley and MVP move to the alumni section. Tamina was not in the alumni section as of Friday. I have not checked yet. So, I don't know for sure, but then again, when was the last time Tamina was even on TV? So, again, there's nothing really to talk about with her right now. But if she would leave, I wouldn't be surprised. How much has WWE actually used her over the past 10 years, if I'm being honest? But, that's what we could talk about another time. Maybe if I find it worth the time. Let's talk about both of these men here too. Which honestly, if it weren't for the other, basically both of these men helped each other out their second runs in WWE. Let's start first with MVP. Because I don't have as much to say about MVP as I do about Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, oh my gosh, has he come a long way since he first came back after WrestleMania 34. I'm sure we'll all remember the nightmare I'm about to share with that. But MVP. So MVP came back to WWE at the beginning of 2020. I think he was supposed to be just a producer, but then he made a surprise appearance in the Royal Rumble. And then they announced that the next night on Raw, he was going to have his last ever match. And it was against Rey Mysterio. And I'm so sorry. I still laugh about it to this day. No offense, but he botched selling the 619. Oh my goodness, was it awful. The way he just started turning around way before Rey even started spinning around the ropes. It was so bad, but it was cringe and funny at the same time, but it was bad. But it was one of those funny bads, if you know what I mean. And then he kind of stuck to being an on-screen character, bring back the VIP lounge, and eventually making his way to becoming Bobby Lashley's manager, forming the Hurt Business, and they brought in more pieces, like Shelton Benjamin, which, because you have Bobby Lashley, who, is still, he's getting up there, but again, you wouldn't know because of how great a shape he's in. He's in the prime! And, he was definitely, the muscle, the main attraction of the Hurt Business. Then, of course, you have Shelton Benjamin, who is I don't want to say old schooler, but, the longer-term veteran, but still has the, he still has the good qualifications, especially to work with, a younger guy. Like the third person, a Cedric Alexander, which Cedric and Shelton together were awesome. In fact, the whole business together, her business together, business was booming. It was on fire. This is a stable I could have definitely seen feuding with the Bloodline if Vince didn't pull the plug on them like he did. Because Vince McMahon, the rumor I always heard, besides the fact people say that, the Hurt Business ran its course, no, it barely even scratched the surface. The rumor I heard, the reason why they ended the Hurt Business in 2021 is because Vince McMahon was worried that Drew McIntyre was going to get booed because of the Hurt Business when him and Bobby feuded around WrestleMania. And it is true, because there was a brief period of time, again, the summer of 2021, where fans were starting to get a little sick of Drew McIntyre. He was on the cusp of getting, the Roman Reigns treatment, or, the Seth Rollins treatment in 2019, where people were just, they were tired of him. They were over it. They wanted him to move on to something else. WWE finally eased back on him at the right time, which of course saved him from people just not wanting to see him on their TV anymore. But that was still stupid. And then we'll get into this discreetly, but when Triple H took over, MVP was trying to get the Hurt Business back together. There was talk about doing it, because I think they even teased it a couple times on Raw. But then Vince came back again, and then by the time Vince left again, the ship had pretty much sailed. Of course, MVP did make some accusations about some things about how Triple H is biased towards certain people. But again, I'm not going to get into that. That's more between him and Triple H. Not going to take sides on that in either one. Just letting them be. And then, of course, also, MVP was the manager for Omos. Which, at the time when it happened, I'm like, this may not be a bad idea, because Omos needed a manager badly. But look at how it turned out. I'm like, why did we even do that? Because, first off, he turned on Bobby Lashley the night after Bobby Lashley beat Omos. Why would you turn on the winner for the loser? And after that, I think the only pay-per-view victory that Omos had was at the rematch at WrestleMania Backlash. Because he lost to Bobby at WrestleMania. He lost again in the 2-on-1 handicap match to Bobby at Hell in a Cell. And I think he then lost to Omos. I mean, no, he lost himself. He lost to Braun Strowman. Excuse me. He lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 39. And I think the last singles pay-per-view match, or singles match in general, he had with his match against Seth Rollins at Backlash last year. After that, he was a free agent. He was still a free agent after this year's draft. And the only times he appeared was on like 1 or 2 Battle Royales, like the SummerSlam one, and I don't think he was in the Royal Rumble. Was he in Andre the Giant? There was one other Battle Royale he was in. I can't remember which one it was, though, off the top of my head. But even that one, I wonder, why is he even still here? Like, there doesn't seem like there is a plan for the future for Omos right now. I mean, I could be wrong. Like, look what happened with Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones was drafted to Raw. He was off TV for 16 months. Then they finally gave him this thing with the New Day, and it's really working. It's actually really interesting, especially the fact that they're teasing the idea they could split the New Day. But yeah, that didn't make sense with MVP going to Omos. I get it, they were probably trying to help him, but story-wise, again, it still made no sense. And MVP was not going to be anything in the ring. I don't think, can he even wrestle anymore? Because I think he has a bad knees or whatnot. But I still think, especially with how things ended, I think he will be going wherever Bobby goes. Let's talk about Bobby Lashley. So Bobby Lashley was someone that when I went back and started watching some old wrestling content, when I first became a wrestling fan, I'm like, man, that's somebody I wish I could have seen. And then he made his return, the Raw after WrestleMania 34. And I'm like, yeah, let's go! Let's just say it took a bit for Bobby Lashley to get to the main event caliber star we all know he could have been. So, when they brought him in, he was a smiling babyface who just smiled and laughed off everything. Remember his first feud with Sami Zayn? Sami Zayn was going nuts because Bobby Lashley gave him vertigo in like a tag match they had or something like that. And then there was the horrible Bobby's sister segment. First off, besides the fact that Bobby came out smiling, thanking Sami for doing this thing was funny, was one of several times they just kind of made the character of Bobby Lashley look so dumb. I'm sorry. They made him like that stuff when he was with Lana, they made him look like a total dumbass. It was embarrassing. I'm just like, he could be so much more than this. Like, everything was, like, super lackluster. Like, up until he was with MVP, I gotta say, the best program I would say he had was when he feuded with Roman for Extreme Rules in 2018. Of course, my gripe about that is that win technically never happened because, yes, he beat Roman Extreme Rules clean, yet he still had to beat Roman to earn a shot at the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. And he lost to Roman then. So that win meant absolutely nothing for Bobby. And a match with Brock Lesnar was one of the biggest reasons why Bobby Lashley came back in 2018. But yeah, we had stuff like that. And then, I forgot to say this before, but the segment with the Bobby sisters, I will not forget. One of the dumbest things I ever seen someone do. So one of the drag people, drag queens, whatever you want to call them, that were dressed up as, had a helmet in their hand. And while Bobby was beating them up, he took the helmet, put it on the person's head, and then doinked him on the top of the head with the helmet on. I still say, I'm just like, that was one of the, and he was smiling as he was doing it. But then, of course, they finally turned him heel towards the end of 2018. And things started to get better. They put him with Lio Rush, which I didn't mind. But what bothered me was that they were still just like having him do goofy stuff, like his favorite pose where he stood up and just like flashed his butt. And They're having them just like show off his physique. I'm like, okay, I get it, he's strong, but let him be just like an unstoppable badass. And then there was issues with Lio Rush and the contract signing stuff, so Lio then went away. And then they just... Obviously this was to punish them. But then they had this awful love storyline with Bobby Lashley and Lana. And Rusev was... I seriously thought that feud was never going to end. It was horrible television. It made no sense. We got no explanation at all as to why Lana split from Rusev. First off, it made me just want Lana off the TV. And she also made Bobby Lashley look like a dumbass. Because like he basically did everything she said. Like the wedding segment. He had to read the vows she gave him. Like, this Bobby Lashley is a big, intimidating guy that nobody wants to mess with. How on earth can that guy be that delusional to let someone like Lana push him around like that? Unreal. It was just so stupid. But then, of course, things got better. Eventually, when MVP came back again, they had MVP, like, trying to talk Bobby into doing business together. And finally, when he was getting more dominating, he's like, let's talk. And that's when the Hurt Business opened up. And again, it worked well. He had a nice run of the U.S. title. He eventually would become world champion. Gave the title for 6 months. Had some good matches in there. Oh, sorry. Also, one more feud I will give him credit for that he did do well with before he was with MVP was a series of matches he had with Braun Strowman in 2019. Especially their last man standing match they had at Extreme Rules that year. That was a really great match. So credit there. I forgot to give him credit for that. But character-wise, again, he just sucked. And then, actually, there was a time where he feuded with Elias when he first turned heel. And Elias would go, "Oh, Bobby Lashley sucks. Bobby Lashley sucks." But, of course, we all knew that wasn't the case. But then, of course, he finally got into his groove again. He won the world title. Eventually, of course, after the Hurt Business, he did finally enter into a feud with Brock Lesnar. Whenever Triple H... Well, actually, he had the first match with Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble in 2022. Which that was more so of like a setup match to set up Brock and Roman for WrestleMania 38. They actually feuded in the fall of 2022. And can I be real? They never had the match I felt that they should have had. I think, I gotta say, of the 3 singles matches they had, the best one had to definitely be probably their crown jewel match. I even thought that one was good, but I expected a lot more. And then there's Elimination Chamber. The last match they ever had was at Elimination Chamber last year. It ended by disqualification. I still don't get... I mean, then again, Vince was lurking around. I still don't get why they just couldn't do the rubber match at WrestleMania. I don't know why did they have to do it just at Chamber with a DQ finish and then no finish after that. But then Bobby moved over to SmackDown and they put him with the Street Profits. And like I said before, I thought that was cooking good. I love the story they were telling with Bobby Lashley trying to get the Street Profits to be much more aggressive. But then they just abruptly turned face whenever they started feuding with the Final Testament. And again, now it's like the Street Profits and B-Fab are just back to square one where they're at. Like, are they great talents? Yes. But they don't have anything going for them now because Bobby Lashley's gone. And they're kind of flat, I won't lie. But here's my thing, though, again. What was really left for Bobby to do? He won the United States Championship a couple times. He won the Intercontinental Championship. He also won an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. He also won the world title, which again, I think must be. He did fight Brock Lesnar. Yes, the matches could have been better, but he still got to fight Brock Lesnar. Like, I'm not upset he left. Because again, what else did he have to do? If I'm being real though, they could have brought him back and had him and the Street Profits and B-Fab turn heel again. And I could have seen Bobby Lashley being a possible candidate to dethrone Cody Rhodes. I think it could have worked. It could have elevated them as a group. Eventually, Street Profits could have gotten the tag titles. But again, now that it's not the case, it's kind of like, like it's not really, it's not really that special anymore. They don't stand out. But again, though, like right now, there just isn't that room for Bobby Lashley at the top. Even though there's a lackluster of main event stars on SmackDown, the plan was not for him to be up at the top. And the moment I knew for sure Bobby was gone was when he did an interview recently. I think it was on Busted Open, I can't remember when it was. And he mentioned that he definitely did have a better connection with Vince McMahon than he does with Triple H. Not saying it's bad, it's just that, you know, he had more of like a relationship with Vince than he did with Triple H. He's not that close with Triple H. So obviously he wasn't going to be booked somewhere. To me, it kind of feels like an Edge situation where it's like, okay, you could have given him another run in the main event scene, which you very well could have easily done. But then again, even if Bobby Lashley would be world champion and be main eventing shows, besides maybe Roman Reigns, who else was he going to fight that was a fresh matchup? I know before he got hurt, they were teasing something with him and Carmelo Hayes, which I would have given that a shot. I would have liked that. But again, the ship just felt like that there wasn't really anything left for him to do anyways. So yes, like he's what 48 years old? He wants to make the last couple years of his career, you know, making the best out of them. And I'll be honest, I don't think WWE was that spot. It's more so the fact that he doesn't really have anything left. He could go to AEW. They could bring in Shelton Benjamin, MVP, of course. And to be honest, I know they can't bring in Cedric. I don't know, and this isn't the most reliable one to me. What if you replace Cedric with Lio Rush in the Hurt Business? Because Lio still makes sporadic appearances in AEW. So even if he's not signed to a full-time contract, he could still come in for an occasional appearance as well. I mean, him and Bobby Lashley do have a history with him being his hype man. It's something good. I mean, and then, heck, they can come in and feud with the New Elite if they want to do that. I definitely think there's a chance Bobby could go back to TNA since he is best known for TNA. But I just see him being someone who's willing to try something new. I think he could debut at All In or maybe even All Out. But again, I don't know how much he can contribute, but I know he definitely wants to at least make the best of the time he's had in his career. Again, he's in great shape, but he's 48 years old. He doesn't have too much time left in the ring. But I think both these men were great, did great services for WWE. And again, especially Bobby Lashley with the long way he came when he first came over. And I wish both of them best of luck. And I do hope they do find success somewhere else. And again, if they want to reunite a new version of the Hurt Business while they're at other companies, be my guest. I think it would cook. Be really good. But that's my thoughts, guys, on Bobby Lashley and MVP both leaving WWE as of this past Friday. What are your guys' thoughts on these guys departing from the WWE? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. Tell them guys I'm checking out. I'll catch you to learn how to rest your night. Do not forget also, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself, and that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!